Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you happen to be watching this. I hope you're having a good day, and I hope this is helpful as you are writing your cause and effect essay. We did some basics about causal arguments in class previously. This, I think, is a little more specific to the topics, the prompts that you've been given for this paper. So let's kind of take a look at things that I hope will help you. Number one, qualify the claims. There, especially with the speculative prompts, there is no way that you can say absolutely positively this will happen. You are not Nostradamus, and even Nostradamus was wrong. So use words like probably, seems, may, conceivably, possibly, or phrases it's feasible that. It leads one to conclude. You're going to have to qualify your claims. Now, for example, on the dog lover and cat lover prompt, some of those other ones, you're going to perhaps be on a little bit stronger ground. But on the video game one, you may well have to be thinking about, um, why is it popular? You might have to think most people prefer, or usually, or you're still going to have to qualify your claims there. Next, I'm going to emphasize again on these speculative ones. What would happen if a race of benevolent space aliens landed in Yankton, South Dakota? You are going to speculate. So you're going to say probably, or leads me to believe, or leads one to believe. Those sorts of phrases need to be there because nobody knows. One can be optimistic at the same time. One can believe that people as a group are kind of crazy, stupid animals and we're going to screw up. And it depends entirely on what's going to happen. And it's the same with the artificial intelligence one. If you're writing about the utopia, you're going to have a far different paper than if you're writing about the dystopia. But your personal experiences with smart devices, all of those things may be, I think, a huge problem if you don't think things through and you don't qualify. You don't provide qualifying phrases and you try to state it in absolutes. Next, don't oversimplify. Why do bad things happen to good people? The book, according to Amazon, has 88 pages. It has 10 chapters. There's going to be usually there's going to be more than one reason for almost every result. Don't try to boil things down to one. There's going to be three, there's going to be four. You don't oversimplify. And even with these ones that you have here, you're still going to use probably or leads one to believe, those sorts of qualifying phrases. For example, I'm a cat person. I grew up on a farm. Cats were kind of necessary to keep the rodent population down. So at that point, I'm not sure I was a cat person more any for any real reason other than the fact that there were far fewer mice when we had cats around. As I'm, growing up, also I'm influenced by Top Cat, the cat in the purple vest, and the newspapers had Garfield and Heathcliff, and Calvin and Hobbes is one of the greatest comic strips of all time. Um, Hobbes, I realize, is a tiger, but I grew up in a town where the mascot was the Tigers when I was in high school. That may have all been part of it. So again, I am speculating that there was a function, then there was entertainment. When I got married, the two cats by the computer were part of the household. They became kind of my responsibility and they became my cats. When both of them passed, we got the Black Princess on the top photo. And again, especially during the first stretch of the pandemic, she did a great job of kind of sitting on my lap and keeping me company. And someplace along the line, I think this came out in 2008 when the two gray cats were part of the household. But owning a cat could reduce your risk of a heart attack by nearly one third. I'm all about having my heart attack risks reduced by one third. So, is it a practical thing, reducing rodents, being safe from a heart attack? Is it the entertainment element that has kind of gone through my life from Saturday morning cartoons through newspapers? Is it the experience of having the cats in my life? There are lots of reasons. And as you're doing cause and effect, you should think about all of the possible causes and how they produce the effect. Next, avoid circular reasoning. The key to success is hiring the right employees, and you know you're successful because, or you know you've hired the right employees because you're successful, and you just kind of keep repeating, and you assume the point you're trying to prove is already true. For this assignment, I'm a dog person because I like dogs is not acceptable. People like Elden Ring, so it's popular, is not acceptable. Students find education boring because they are bored, is not acceptable. What are the reasons? You don't prove something by restating the claim. And for the love of God, I am begging, I am pleading. Don't, don't do something like this. My hometown has helped me become who I am because I am who I am. You are not Popeye the Sailor. All right? Please, I am begging and begging and begging. You are you have to define who you are for that prompt. And you need to then show how your hometown or your high school graduating class or whatever other thing you're going to put in there, how that thing has created you. But you do not get to be I am what I am. I feel better now. Remember, you're going to hear me say this dozens and dozens of times. Correlation does not equal causation. In your papers, you don't have anything quite as dramatic as the comic here about we found correlation between increased sales and shaved heads, so everyone needs to shave his or her head. That doesn't seem to me to be a thing that you should think about. But again, drawing the wrong conclusion, I think, is problematic. So make sure that correlation does not equal causation. At the same time, I think that it's important to think through this idea of you have a hypothesis. If the facts lead you to that hypothesis, if you can say that it is probable, if you can say that it conclusively, not conclusively, but it leads one to believe, if you can say that the preponderance of the evidence leads you to this, then go from there. But again, it doesn't equal causation. You can't push it all the way to one single cause. Concrete details matter. Synonyms for concrete details are the facts, the examples, the quotations, the descriptions, illustrations, specifics. I think for this paper, there will be times when you need to use words that appeal to the senses: sight, touch, taste, smell, hearing. Things that are concrete, things that you can prove. Too many of the papers have just been claim and then another claim repeated and then a summarizing of the claim one more time. What is the data that leads one to believe that this claim is true? And then don't forget the warrants. How do the warrants lead one to tie the data to the claim? And I think it's important to remember that synonyms are not concrete details. Poor attention from the slide, from the picture in this middle, is the same as indifference. Tedium and monotony are listed as synonyms from Merriam-Webster's synonyms. Okay? Little or no interest in an activity. There are several words, including indifference, unconcerned, that are little or no interest. If you keep going down, the lack of rest and relaxation is restlessness. Too many of the things on that photo, on that picture, are synonyms. They're not reasons. Having an unhealthy lifestyle is a reason. Lack of connection is a reason. Lack of diversity is a reason. Tedium is a synonym. Monotony is a synonym. Poor attention is another way of saying indifference, which is a synonym. Synonyms are not concrete details. Synonyms are not reasons. I probably should have that on the slide as well. They are neither. So again, all they are repetitions of the claim. Do not try to repeat the claim in other words. You have a cause, you have an effect. How is the cause linked to the effect? How are you showing that the cause produces the effect? Focus on your thesis. I think the idea of, where you're thinking about your paper on boredom, and now you're thinking about your meeting on work, and now you're thinking about Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or whatever, and now you're thinking about a study group, and now you're thinking about all of this other stuff. The point of the thing is, this is me at the top of boredom. This is how and why I am bored. And if these things are how and why you're bored in the classroom, then make sure your thesis follows those. But don't get distracted and don't have a laundry list of things. Focus on a limited thesis. I think here, especially when things are speculative, make sure you limit that speculation. For this prompt, what caused you to become a dog person, an iguana person, whatever? Look, you're focusing on the causes. You're going to define what it means to be an iguana person or a dog person or a cat person, but you're going to focus on the causes. How has your hometown helped you become the person you are? Again, you're focusing on the causes. You're going to have to spend a little time defining who it is you are. And again, please, for the love of God and for my sanity, do not do I am what I am, because that's what I am. What is the effect of the majority of students finding education boring? You're all about the effects. Why do many students find education boring? You're all about the causes. Why is the Call of Duty franchise popular? This should be the causes. I have the effect on here. This should be the causes. I apologize for that. I will change it for class. This should be the cause. My bad. What would happen if a race of benevolent space aliens landed in Yankton, South Dakota? It's the effect. You're probably going to do a chain of events. You're going to have the cause, they landed, produces effect A, which leads to effect B, which leads to effect C. And I think the same with the artificial intelligence. Will it bring us closer to utopia? And again, this should probably be causes, not necessarily effects. I apologize for that again. This one should be causes, not necessarily effects. I'll change it in class. But, here's the AI. The dystopia is going to be the known effect. You want to define that effect, and then how did we get there? And again, you may well do the chain of events and how it got there. So this should be the causes with the definition of the effect. Sorry for the two mistakes in this last slide. This is why I tell you guys to proofread, so you don't make stupid mistakes like I just did. Hope all of you have a good day, and I hope to see all of you in class next class period.